Did you have the opportunity to interact with many families while you were in Afghanistan, or not really at all?
Not many. We at the time were, and I guess I could probably share this. So the CIA was paying locals to
Okay.
do jobs.
Okay.
So it was usually, they use the term military age male quite frequently. So it was usually military age male and older. Didn't interact with a whole lot of women and children,
Okay.
except for they had the big outside brick ovens,
Yeah.
and they would make bread.
Okay.
To
Yeah.
this day, the best bread.
The non-bread.
The bread that's
Yeah.
the non-bread, the unleavened, right?
Yeah. I see.
The bread that it's if you ever have an opportunity to eat handmade, fresh Afghani bread,
Mhm. It's excellent.
it's absolutely
So-
amazing. So they had some ladies would do that,
Okay.
but no eye contact.
Yeah.
No.
So-
There's
And my reason for asking is one of the things that we've learned from almost every one of these cultures, almost without exception, is they do a better job of building community than most Americans do.
Sure.
They are more hospitable.
Yep.
I mean, we would get invited over to these homes for dinner when my wife and I were living in that apartment complex, and the way they made their meal, our meal was a better meal than their meal.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes everybody was eating the same thing,
Yep.
but they went and got a delicacy to serve us
Mm-hmm.
while they ate whatever ordinary they normally ate on there. It's like, no. I mean, why? It's
We
like,
were a guest.
yeah, and we were
Yeah.
a guest. And so the level of hospitality and community that comes, we could learn a lot from them because, some of the Middle Eastern countries pride themselves on their level of hospitality. I mean, if you're a guest in my home, I will protect you. I mean, it is a serious thing to be a guest in someone's home in most of these communities, and to be even invited over for tea or invited over for a meal is an honor.
Yeah.
And that's the way that they treat it.
Yep.
And like I said, and we get it. It doesn't really mean that much to us over here to
Yeah.
to be invited. So, and the other thing I wanted to share, if you don't mind me looking up a verse real quick, from the kingdom perspective, because that is, yes, we want to be obedient to the things that the Lord puts on our heart and the things we chase after, but what's the eternal significance to what you do?
Mm-hmm.
Why do what does it mean to the people? And waiting for my Bible app to come up, and it's slow to come up, but Acts 17, 26 and 27, I'm going to end up with a paraphrase if this doesn't come up here. My paraphrase would be close. Okay, so I got her here. And so Acts 17, 26 and 27 basically is talking about how from one man, God made all the nations.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, from one man, he made all the nations that they should inhabit the whole earth. And he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. Okay, he marked out their times in history and the boundaries of lands. But why did he do that? That's what verse 27 says. He says, God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, because he is not far from any one of us. So when you look at the tragedies that are in the world, there are people that are coming into our country through these tragedies that missionaries would have never gotten to,
Sure.
that would not have ever heard the gospel, but because they won that lottery ticket of being selected as a refugee to be resettled in our country, they have the opportunity now to hear the gospel, to hear the good news, to spend eternity with Christ that wasn't there in their home country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you see that, that God ordains the nations and the boundaries of their lands and why this country moves that way and that way, and it's we see that conflict and we go, there's some stupid people fighting wars for stupid reasons out there, and that's my opinion. and then, but you look at what the verse that says God can make good out of all circumstances.
Sure.
In there, there are people coming here that by having gone through what they did in their home country that caused them to end up here, have the chance to hear the good news of the gospel. And that chance was not available to them in their home country.
Yep.
So, the Great Commission, go out into all the world, make disciples of all nations. Well, not everybody is called. We were talking about missions, before we started this. Not everybody's called to go on the mission field.
Right.
But you know what? The Great Commission is still your deal, whether you're called to be in the mission field or not. Well, you can make disciples of all nations without leaving Jacksonville.
You got to go far.
You don't have to go far. And if you want to know where they are, go to the DMV. No, I'm teasing.
Yeah. Well, to that point, not everyone is called to sell the beautiful condo with the nice view and do what you did, but everybody is called to do something.
To do something, exactly.
Everybody is called to do something, and
And I'm not laying out there saying that you should do that. I had my wife and I get opportunities to speak at times, and after one of the opportunities we had where we were sharing, guy came up afterwards and he's like, and I'm not sure. I think he meant it as a compliment, but I'm not sure. He goes, "I could never do what you guys are doing." And I looked at him and I kind of shocked him in my answer. I said, "Good."
Yeah.
And he kind of gives me this look. And I said, "Because that means God's got something else for you.
Absolutely.
You don't see yourself doing this, and I'm okay with that. But this is what I've been called to do. You're called to serve the homeless. You're called to do, to love on kids in kids' church. I mean, do it."